I don't know what to build for my portfolio. Why don't you build a project based on something you truly enjoy? In this video, I walk through how I'd build out an MVP for an event management app using inspiration from my trip to DreamCon, which is an anime and gaming convention that I enjoy going to every year. I explain how research, planning, and a lived experience can help you build an amazing project that can help you get hired. I'll even show you how easy it is to get started while being at the convention, dressed in outfits inspired by some of my favorite characters. Let's normalize building projects that are fun, unique, and something that you're actually passionate about building. It's time to elevate your skill set. Hey y'all, so this first part of the video is going to start at DreamCon, where I'm going through the research and planning phase for this build. Once again, I'm building out an event management app inspired by my trip to DreamCon. So the point of this section is to show you the why behind what I'm building. So let's hop right on in and let's start the planning arc. All right, y'all, it is day 0 at DreamCon. I was outside having a good time in my Goku inspired outfit, but now it is time to lock in and get started on this project. So tonight, since it is late, as you can see, I want to at least get some dev tickets built out just so I can stay organized with this build. I also want to get a new trailhead playground spun up so that we have a fresh environment to build everything out in. And then I'm probably going to start building out some objects, some fields, and maybe some other minor things as well, just so that I can get this build started. So let's lock in and I will show you my progress up next. So on day 0 of DreamCon, I actually wasn't able to get that much completed. I was tired, and I will explain that a little later on in this video. But I was able to spin up a trailhead playground. I went into ClickUp, which can be used for managing projects and things like that for those who are unaware. I went into ClickUp and created a new list to store all of the dev tickets that I want to create for this project. And I also did some research. So I went into DreamCon's mobile app, and I also went on their website and took a closer look at DreamCon from the business side so that I could get a better understanding of what I could actually add in Salesforce. All right, y'all, it is day 1 of DreamCon, and I completely underestimated how tired I was last night. So, even though I was able to start doing some research and start taking down some of the requirements for the build, I was not able to get the tickets created last night. So, I worked on that this morning, and I used AI to help speed up the process because we're trying to move quickly with this build. And yeah, AI was able to help me generate not only some tickets, but also some discovery questions that I could use in the event that I was having a discovery call with DreamCon. I'm not doing that, but I just want to walk you through what that process would look like in the event that DreamCon was actually a client and we needed to learn more about their business and what they actually want to see in Salesforce. So I did use AI to draft those questions. And then also, I used AI to draft a checklist of items that I should watch out for while I'm actually at the convention. And so, the goal for that is to see what else I might want to add to the build after attending the convention. So I'm gonna go down to the convention now and I will check back in with you all later on. Before I went down to the convention, I went back through DreamCon's website and app and started taking some really good notes. I used these notes to continue building out the requirements for this project. And since we'd want Salesforce to provide a 360-degree view of DreamCon as a business, I did some research into different integrations that might make sense for this project if I had enough time to build it out. But since this is just a portfolio project, I have added those integrations into my list of future enhancements. Being at the convention helped me to think of different ways to keep track of vendors, partners, sponsors, and all of the different events that DreamCon throws every year. During days 2 and 3 of DreamCon, I just spent time enjoying the convention, but I also took note of more things that I felt would be good to add inside of Salesforce for this event management app. But now I'm back home and it is time to start walking through how I built out this event management app. So let's begin the building arc. One of the first things I decided to do was to create a new Lightning app called Event Management that will hold all of the objects, a custom homepage, and anything else that is needed in order for this project to be successful. I used logos and colors directly from their website to brand the app. And then I kept most of the default settings the same for this app. And I originally added some baseline objects that I will go in and edit a little later, but I just wanted to get this app created. So objects like accounts, opportunities, contacts, things like that. And then I only made this app available for system admins for now. But if I was rolling this out to DreamCon's team or whatever, I would actually have some additional profiles that would have access to this event management app. But we're going to keep this MVP pretty simple and only give access to the system admin profile. So here's how the initial event management app looks without all of the customization that I'm going to add in just a bit. Another thing I ended up doing was adding a theme to Salesforce to match DreamCon's brand. So the goal here was to take images and colors from DreamCon and their website and use that to build out this theme in Salesforce. This custom theme will improve the user experience in Salesforce by providing a familiar interface that is driven by DreamCon's brand. So after making a few more adjustments, this is what the final result looks like. And I think it came out pretty good. So you can see DreamCon's branding in different locations like the buttons. And we can also see branding if we were to go to the profile view where we have a default profile picture. We have the banner featuring RDC, the founders of DreamCon, by the way. And we could always go in and update this photo. Right now, I'm just going in and updating my profile picture. This DreamCon logo is the default profile picture, but I still want to see me. And like I said, it's looking pretty good. Next up, I started creating the different custom objects that are needed for this build. First up is the event profile object. This object is used to store the high-level events for a business. So, for example, DreamCon's high-level event this year is DreamCon 2026. And there are different types of related records that need to be associated with this event profile in order for us to get a better understanding of what DreamCon 2026 actually looks like. That's where the next few objects come in. Next up is the program item object. The program item object stores the different types of programming that the convention offers. So, for example, DreamCon had an All-Star Marble Rivals tournament that required RSVP, and it was in the gaming hall. So, this programming item will not only allow us to store that information, but we will also be able to see things like the sponsors and talent that is assigned to that particular program item. And we're going to do that by using the program assignments object. Program assignments are just a junction object between the program item object and the event role object. This object allows us to assign sponsors, talent, and more to different program items using their event role for the overall convention. The event roles object can be used to associate different organizations and individuals with the convention. The event roles object has two record types to store this information. When creating an event role, we can set the role type, and we can set whether or not that the organization or individual has confirmed that they are actually going to the convention. The event space object allows us to keep track of key areas in the convention. We'll be able to define things like space type, which can be things like a main stage, or it could even be a booth or an artist table. We can also go in and define the capacity, the space number if it has one, and then define some features that that space has. And of course, this could be built out more in the future. But the most important thing about this object is being able to see all of the program items related to this event space. That way, we can ensure that there aren't any event space conflicts on the schedule. Finally, we have the event milestones object. This object will keep track of any important milestones related to the convention, and you'll be able to control whether or not these milestones display on that custom Lightning Web Component that we have on the homepage. So right now we see that this post-event survey distribution milestone is showing up on the homepage, but if I wanted to remove that, I could go to the event milestone. I can deselect this, click save, go back to the home screen, and now you see that that milestone no longer shows on the home screen. I also created some support processes and record types for cases. That way we can keep track of the different support tickets that come in for the convention. Things like general event support and app support can be tracked using this out-of-box case object. So here is an overview of the object schema for this MVP. I did create some custom objects and made use of out-of-box objects as well. I could have pulled in some additional out-of-box objects like opportunities and campaigns, but I wanted to keep this MVP minimal. So we are just going to stick with these objects for now. And if I were to continue building out this event management app, we could definitely add in some additional objects. Next up, I wanted to build some Lightning Web Components so that I can show off the development side of my capabilities. However, I gave myself a very short period of time to get this build completed, so I decided to just go with the vibes and vibe code these Lightning Web Components. But seriously, I had a goal to create two different Lightning Web Components. The first Lightning Web Component is the event countdown and milestone status component. And the second Lightning Web Component is the what needs attention overview component. I took some time to create some requirements for these two components. Then I gave those requirements to ChatGPT to create the markdown files that I then gave to Codex to generate the Lightning Web Components. Now, I did have to do some back and forth with Codex to get these Lightning Web Components the way I wanted them, specifically for the Lightning Web Components to use the theme and branding that I set up earlier in Salesforce, instead of using hard-coded colors and random colors and things like that, and some of the spacing was off. Me and Codex were going through it, but me and Codex were able to complete the build together, and it turned out lovely. Look at these two beautiful Lightning Web Components that give a great overview of event operations, what needs to happen, as well as key milestones. These Lightning Web Components are not only available for the homepage, the countdown component is also available on the Lightning record page. So that is the event management app inspired by my trip to DreamCon. I hope that you now feel inspired to create portfolio projects based off of things that you enjoy. If you have any feedback on this project or ways that it can be improved, let me know in the comments. Also, if you want to see me continue to build this out, let me know in the comments. Now it's time for you to go build a fun project so that you can shock the world and hiring managers.